our lead story tonight, as air pollution levels across the national capital region in Delhi, Haryana and in Uttar Pradesh bordering areas is in the severe zone. The Supreme Court again had tough words for the centre and state governments, saying that the court is compelled to step in every year in October and November when Delhi chokes. The Supreme Court also said people sitting in five-star hotels can't blame farmers and stubble burning for the recent levels of air pollution, saying that they want emergency measures to be given to them and an action plan by Monday evening, and saying that all the measures ordered by the Central Air Quality Monitoring Committee must be adhered to.
Delhi is choking. The Supreme Court said this today as it pulled up the central and state governments for their inaction in tackling the air pollution disaster year after year. A three-judge special bench led by the Chief Justice, while hearing Delhi student Aditya Dubey's plea seeking court monitoring of Delhi NCR pollution, said, "The bureaucracy has developed an inertia. They want everything to be done by the court, from water sprinkling to stopping fires and so on. It is unfortunate. Every year in October and November, the Supreme Court is compelled to take steps when Delhi starts choking. Delhi government banned firecrackers. The onus is on them to implement it. Can you deny that firecrackers have been used in the last 5 to 6 days?
उन्होंने अल्टीमेटम कराया और मंडे को मैटर लगाया कि 2 दिन के अंदर सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई की जाए, सो दैट पोजीशन काबू नियंत्रण में आ जाए.
A key argument today was the contribution of stubble burning, primarily in Punjab and Haryana. The centre today said it was wrongly accused by the petitioner of misleading the court and said the figure is 35 to 40% for October and November. On Monday, the centre's lawyer said it was 10% and its affidavit puts it even lower. The Delhi government argues stubble burning contributes to more than half of the capital's pollution, but the court rejected these arguments. "We do not want to penalize the farmers. Debates on TV are causing more pollution than any other source. Everyone has their own agenda there. Here we are trying to find solutions." The court also said, irrespective of figures in the affidavit, the plight of farmers remains unresolved. Nobody is concerned about what compels them to burn stubble. People sitting in five-star hotels in Delhi blame farmers. The Punjab government has left the farmers upon the mercy of God and has told them to stop burning the stubble, but provided no alternative. Delhi government keeps quoting Pusa Research Institute study, but there are already reports saying that the method is a failure. The court has also asked the central government to consider providing common pick-up and drop services to its employees and asked Delhi government to add more CNG buses in order to reduce the number of private vehicles on the roads.
The next hearing of the case will take place on Tuesday. Till then, the Supreme Court has asked the centre as well as state governments to comply with all the measures that have been declared by the Commission for Air Quality Management. In New Delhi with camera person Sushil Rathi, this is Sukirti Dwivedi for NDTV.
But as the Supreme Court said, why is it that every year there is again this intervention by the Supreme Court? What happened to the emergency measures which are meant to kick in when air quality is this bad? I mean, we're literally smoking, I don't know how many cigarettes a day, especially for young children. Here's a record of the promises made, and were any of them actually kept?
Business takes a back seat as emergency action is announced in a late-night decision, all to cut the terrible air pollution in and around the capital. But the irony is that this may have been avoidable if various governments and agencies had just followed policies and promises in place for years. 6 power plants have been stopped now, but back in 2015, the Supreme Court had ordered that coal-powered plants reduce their emissions within 2 years. But still, the standards have not been met.
That standard, was to be implemented in a period of 2 years by 2017. But in 2017, nothing happened and they kicked the can down the road and it ended up getting a 5-year extension 2022. And then earlier this year, that has further been diluted now to 2025, in a staggered or a phased manner.
The government has now ordered 1,000 buses, as vehicular pollution is about a third of Delhi's pollution. But the total number of buses have remained far below what the Supreme Court ordered over 20 years ago.
Over 20 years ago, the Supreme Court said that Delhi needs 11,000 buses. The need since then has only increased. Now, till date, there are about 8,500 buses in Delhi, and that is including 1,000 private buses that the Delhi government says they have rented as an emergency measure.
हम तो चाहते हैं या तो बसें बढ़ाई जाए, बसें नहीं बढ़ा सकते हैं तो थोड़ी सी छूट दी जाए, क्योंकि हमें भी अच्छा नहीं लगता सवारियों को बार-बार मना करें और बार-बार उतारा जाए। कि कोई कहता है हम 1 घंटे से खड़े हैं, कोई कहता है हम 2 घंटे से खड़े हैं, कोई कहता है हम आधा घंटे से खड़े हैं, कोई कहता है हम लेट हो रहे हैं, कोई कहता है हम बीमारी के लिए मारे हैं, हम अस्पताल में जाना है, हम लेट हो रहे हैं।
Another festering cause for Delhi's pollution is its massive dumps of unsegregated waste, like this one in Ghazipur. Wet waste releases methane and can cause dry waste to catch fire, which releases noxious fumes into the air.
Disposing unsegregated waste was banned here in 2016. But as you can see, this mountain is only getting bigger and segregation is still not enforced.
Government response to stubble burning has followed a similar pattern. The government has provided 86,550 stubble removing machines, 31,000 in Punjab alone, but only a third have been used there. With Mohammad Ghazali and Azam Siddiqui, Meher Pandey for NDTV.
Promises made, promises broken. Meanwhile, the focus of our politicians is on one thing, elections, and especially the huge Uttar Pradesh state elections coming up next year. So the Prime Minister will be back in Uttar Pradesh on the 19th, just 2 days away from Friday to Sunday. And this time he'll be launching projects worth 6,250 crores and pre-election bonanza in UP. This will be his second visit to the state within 3 days. They include various welfare projects, including water projects in drought hit Bundelkhand, after, of course, the inauguration of the Purvanchal Expressway this Monday. Also, he laid the foundation for 3,000 crores solar power plant in Jhansi, and then will also attend a BJP election meeting and be at an All India Police Chiefs meeting in Lucknow. Also, however, the campaign on in full swing for opposition parties. Ex-Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav has launched his Rath Yatra across the state. Srinivasan Jain was on that Rath.
जो मोदी जी कह रहे हैं कि समाजवादी पार्टी की सरकार आएगी तो दोबारा गुंडा राज होगा, अत्याचार होगा, बाहुबलियों का राज होगा।
क्या भारतीय जनता पार्टी को नहीं पता कि कल जो पैदल चलने वाले मुख्यमंत्री थे, कितने मुकदमे उनके ऊपर? क्या मुख्यमंत्री कोई देश का मुख्यमंत्री ऐसा होगा जिसने अपने मुकदमे वापस लिए हों? ये पहले मुख्यमंत्री हैं जिन्होंने अपने मुकदमे वापस लिए हैं। और मैं आपको कह के जा रहा हूँ कि इसी पूर्वांचल से, और इन्होंने दरवाजा खोला था बीजेपी का, इन्होंने बीजेपी का दरवाजा खोला था, यही दरवाजा बीजेपी का बंद करने जा रहे हैं।
So huge crowds there for Akhilesh Yadav's Rath Yatra, but also on the campaign trail is General Secretary in charge of Uttar Pradesh, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. Her focus on outreach with women.
कब तक आस लगाओगी तुम बिके हुए अखबारों से? इसका मतलब है कि तुम्हारी लड़ाई लड़ने के लिए कोई नहीं आ रहा है। तुम कब तक आस लगाओगी कि तुम्हारी आवाज कोई और उठाएगा? कैसी रक्षा मांग रही हो दुशासन दरबारों से? मतलब कि तुम कैसी रक्षा मांग रही हो उन लोगों से जो तुम्हारी रक्षा करेंगे ही नहीं, जो तुम्हारा अत्याचार कर रहे हैं, जो तुम्हारा शोषण कर रहे हैं।
Meanwhile, well, COVID numbers in India just over 10,000 in the last 24 hours. They're more than yesterday, but still the lowest they've been for a long time, even after festival season. And Madhya Pradesh now lifting all COVID restrictions with immediate effect. That means that schools, cinemas, malls can all open, and also for all political, sports, entertainment, cultural, religious events can be held at full capacity. So Madhya Pradesh going ahead and in a sense saying COVID is over because everything is opening up in full force. However, masks and social distancing, they say, will still be in place, even though everything will operate at full capacity. This coming as vaccinations in India have now crossed 114 crores. Today's vaccination is already touching nearly 70 lakhs. However, in Maharashtra, the government has said that they've asked superstar Salman Khan to release this video stressing on the importance of vaccinations, because the health minister said that they're seeing some vaccine hesitancy in Muslim-dominated areas. However, the BJP has attacked this video, saying that the Maharashtra government is using this to polarize voters in other states.
हम सभी जानते हैं कि पिछले 1.5 वर्ष से पूरी दुनिया में कोरोना वायरस ने कोहरा मचा रखा है। एक के बाद एक कोरोना की लहर आ रही है। एक बात साबित हो गई है कि कोरोना को रोकने के लिए वैक्सीन ही सबसे असरदार हथियार है। जहां एक और सरकार पूरे देश को जल्द से जल्द वैक्सीन दिलाने के लिए हर संभव कोशिश कर रही है और दूसरी ओर वैक्सीन को लेकर कुछ अफवाहें और गलत बातें भी फैलाई जा रही हैं, जिससे लोगों के मन में वैक्सीन को लेकर आशंका पैदा हो रही है। सबसे पहले मैं लोगों से अपील करना चाहता हूं कि कोरोना वैक्सीन को लेकर गलत बातें ना फैलाएं और दूसरी बात हमें यह समझना होगा कि वैक्सीन लगाकर आप अपने आप को ही नहीं बल्कि आपके परिवार, समाज और देश को भी सुरक्षित रखने में योगदान दे रहे हो।
Forget the politics. Fantastic message by Salman Khan there. But can we actually ever forget the politics? A monologue by comedian Veer Das in the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. has gone viral, but it's also attracted huge online hate and 2 criminal complaints in Delhi and Mumbai. He's been attacked for his monologue on 2 Indias. We talks about the fact that while we worship goddesses, women are also gang raped at night.
I come from which India? I come from 2 Indias.
There's support for Veer Das after a backlash with lawyers filing complaints against the stand-up comedian. Veer Das' 6-minute video went viral as he spoke in Washington, D.C. about what he called 2 Indias. After a backlash, he responded to the criticism, saying the focus of the video is on what makes India great. And that's the reason for the applause. One of the complainants filed at a Delhi police station is by Aditya Jha. He wants Veer Das to be arrested.
जब मेरा मन आहत हुआ कि हमारे देश की महिलाओं का अपमान एक विदेशी धरती पर एक स्वदेशी इंसान कर रहा है, तो मैंने प्रण लिया कि इसकी एक लड़ाई लड़ेंगे और मैंने आज डीसीपी नई दिल्ली को एक शिकायत दर्ज की है। जल्दी इसके ऊपर हम एक कार्रवाई करेंगे और वीर दास जल्दी अरेस्ट हो।
However, there was some support.
Find even one statement that you can bring up in a court of law or bring up in the court of logic.
Just a few days ago, comedian Munawar Farooqi's show in Goa was cancelled after threats following cancellations in other cities as well, including Mumbai. Veer Das is currently in New York representing India at the prestigious International Emmys, which will be held next week in New York, where he is nominated for his show Veer Das for India.
And Christian and Sikh and Parsi.
In Mumbai, Rohit Khilnani for NDTV.
We only see one thing together, the price of petrol.
Ironically, those who are targeting Veer Das today actually prove the point he was making in that monologue on 2 Indias. Meanwhile, now actor Kangana Ranaut has targeted Mahatma Gandhi after the controversy over her remarks on the freedom struggle in 1947 being peak. In a series of Instagram posts, she said that those are the ones who taught us if someone slaps you off for another cheek for one more slap, and that is how you will get azadi. That's not how one gets azadi. One can only get peak like that. Choose your heroes wisely. Either you're a Gandhi fan or a Netaji supporter. You can't be both. Choose and decide. Meanwhile, moving across to other big story, well, the holy Kartarpur corridor opens tomorrow and the entire Punjab cabinet will be crossing over tomorrow morning on the eve of Guru Nanak Jayanti. For more, let's go across to Akshay, who is live at the Kartarpur corridor on India's side in the Gurdaspur district. Akshay, so there must be a great deal of excitement before tomorrow's opening coming after 20 months.
Well, exactly, Sonia. For millions of Sikhs across the country, this finally is the good news that the Kartarpur corridor is opening. Right now, we are standing just outside the Kartarpur corridor entrance, and as you can see, there is a lot of security. There are a lot of checks by BSF, by Punjab police, but not a lot of people are allowed here in this particular area because a lot of security checks are happening, especially the pilgrims who are coming tomorrow have to do online registration. They need certain documentation, including passport, a negative RT-PCR report, vaccination certificates, before they can enter into Pakistan from this corridor, and they can go and visit and pay their obeisance at Darbar Sahib Gurdwara. Tomorrow, as you rightly mentioned, Chief Minister Charanjit Channi, along with his entire cabinet, will be part of the first Jatha that will be visiting there. But there were certain people who were lucky and who got permission to even use the Kartarpur corridor and visit Darbar Sahib Gurdwara, and most of those people said that they were met with quite a warm welcome from the Pakistani side, and the Pakistani side also welcoming the step by the Indian government to again reopen the Kartarpur corridor. Yes, there was a lot of politics behind Kartarpur corridor and its reopening. There was a delegation by the Bharatiya Janata Party that met the Prime Minister and the Home Minister, requesting them to reopen, along with requests from Chief Minister Charanjit Channi, Navjot Singh Sidhu to reopen Kartarpur corridor, but ever since it was shut in March 2020, finally after around 20 months, reopening up of Kartarpur corridor has come as a major and a very welcome news for lakhs of those people who were waiting for this moment.
Absolutely, and the timing of course significant because of course just before Guru Nanak Jayanti and also just months before the Punjab election.
Yes.
So whether it's the BJP or the Congress or AAP, everyone wants political mileage out of that as well. But moving across to what is a tragic story coming out of Srinagar, whatever the facts are, because so much seems to be blurred, it remains that people have been killed and families are now sitting on protest asking for the bodies of those people back. The police have said that the people who were killed are terrorist supporters or terrorist workers. The families are disputing this with facts and saying that at least they should get the right to an honourable burial of their loved ones.
मेरी कजन ने बोला उसको 3 बार ऊपर चढ़ाया, जो कजन उधर पे था, जो गवाही दे रहा था, जो ने देखा अपनी आंखों से, 3 बार उसको ऊपर चढ़ाया, 3 बार और 2 बार छोड़ा, तीसरी बार मार दिया। ये क्या मतलब होता है? वो कहाँ से आप लोग?
13-year-old daughter of Altaf Bhatt describes the moment she learnt about the killing of her father, a businessman who was shot dead in a controversial encounter on Monday evening. The video has been widely shared on social media. Families of both businessmen, Altaf Bhatt and Dr. Mudassir Gul, killed in the encounter, are demanding their bodies be returned. The police buried them over 100 kilometers away, citing law and order concerns.
मैं अपने हस्बैंड की डेड बॉडी मांग रही हूँ, बाकी मुझे कुछ नहीं। देखो मुझे मेरे हस्बैंड की शक्ल दिखाओ बस, हमें और कुछ नहीं, हम कुछ भी आर नॉट डिमांडिंग एनीथिंग, वी आर ओनली डिमांडिंग जस्टिस।
हमारी सिर्फ एक ही डिमांड है कि हमारे अपनी लाश है वापस दे दीजिए।
Former chief ministers protested as well.
और ये सरकार इतनी जालिम है कि मारने के बाद उनकी डेड बॉडीज भी नहीं दे रही है, तो हम यही कहते हैं कि ये सिलसिला नहीं चलेगा, इससे कश्मीर में हालात और खराब होंगे।
Omar Abdullah termed the denial of bodies to families for burial as a crime against humanity. And Farooq Abdullah spoke to Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha demanding an impartial probe. The family of one of the terrorists has alleged that the 24-year-old was innocent, that his father was an anti-terrorist crusader recognized by the army. But the police say that Amir was a hybrid terrorist, a term coined for those who are not listed as terrorists in police records. Police say they recovered 2 pistols from the encounter site.
After killing of 2 businessmen in a controversial encounter in Srinagar, it is a struggle for the families to get dead bodies and a right to bury their dead. In Srinagar, Nazir Masoodi for NDTV.
Strong words there from the families saying all they want is justice and answers. Meanwhile, in other news, markets declined for the second straight session, down 0.5%. The Sensex sliding 314 points, the Nifty falling 100 points, ending at 17,898. The Realty and Pharma shares declined the most, with the Go Colors IPO, however, oversubscribed 2.46 times on day 1. Tarson's Products IPO oversubscribed 77.49 times on the final day. So clearly, IPOs continuing to reign supreme at the markets.